Hey, I'm Mike and I'm proudly partnering with Mindsight to flip the focus on mental health. It's important to me because I've seen so many friends and family affected, silenced almost, and struggle not necessarily have been able to articulate or be able to talk about or feel that they can express what they're going through and what's been going on. And that's not right. That's not good enough. And awareness weeks are great to raise profile and grab media attention, but I don't think that's enough. Every Monday, 52 different businesses who care about making positive change are going to tell their story or share insights about how they look after their staff to make positive conversations the normal way to start every week, every Monday of the year. Then they'll pass the baton on to another business, another person. For me, a particular time where my mental health was affected was at the beginning of 2019. We were just about to meet our second child, our little baby girl Evelyn, and everything was going great. It was all fine. We were in hospital and labour had started and everything was ticking along nicely, and then there was a couple of complications. Long story short, after a traumatic birth, Evelyn was transferred to a neonatal intensive care unit, and the picture image of everything going brilliantly and this newborn baby being born and being able to cuddle them and you know, after that little short spout of time, being able to bring them home and introduce them to the family and introduce her to a big brother. Well, it didn't quite work out like that for us. Evelyn was in neonatal for a good few weeks, undergoing tests and checks and, you know, a whole host of things there. And it had an effect. It had a huge effect on not only me but the surrounding family. Of course, it had a huge effect on Hannah. She was in the hospital with Evelyn as well. And I even saw the knock-on effect in our little boy. He was only 2 at the time, but you could see he was trying to process, and he'd become insulated and quiet and held back, which wasn't his character at all. And, you know, throughout this whole time and since this, and Evelyn's now home, and, you know, she's doing brilliantly and she's great. You would never even know that she'd been through what she'd been through. But it had an effect on my mental health. And there were certain things that I've since sort of processed and learned and began to understand a little bit differently. 3 things. It's okay to not be okay. You know, in the times where it's difficult, it's okay. It's okay to not be okay. The second thing is it's not okay to be someone else. To mask, to pretend, to falsify, to project something that's not true. And the third thing is that I learned massively with Evelyn is you got to choose your battles. You know, some things just weren't worth fighting. Some things are worth fighting for. But you got to choose your battles. I'm Mike, and I pass the baton to flip the focus on mental health.